We are living during a critical time on this earth, and we're witnessing how important our connection is to our bodies and our spirits, our planet, and one another.
And we're recognizing that to stand in our truth means honoring the full spectrum of our emotional human experience.
We're seeking answers in all the stories and medicine that will support us and guide us as we create the safety we need to face our fears and to feel our feels.
And we cannot do this alone. Community, connection, and compassion are at the heart of our collective healing.
I'm Ellen, a breathwork and medicine companion and creator of Trip with Ellen.
And I'm Sam, an integrative energy therapist and creator of Involution Healing. Welcome. Journey with us.
This is Woo New. So both of us have been really looking forward to this conversation with Eva Liao, who is a consciousness and spiritual growth mentor. She coaches women and men to help them experience more freedom, calm, happiness, and connection in their everyday lives. And we had this initial conversation with Eva, I guess it was just last week. It feels actually like there's a lot that happened in this 1 week.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, time moves fast.
It really does. But in this conversation, she shared that she just turned 39 and she's literally starting over again, having just moved to Austin, Texas to live in an Airstream trailer as she lives out her dream of starting an intentional community with a friend of hers. And so we're just so honored to have you, Eva, with us today to talk about this beautiful and sometimes often, I would say, scary space of liminality, the space of I don't know, the space of possibility. And it just feels already, even as I'm saying those words, I'm getting total chills in my body. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this conversation.
Us too. And it just feels like we're having this conversation literally smack dab in the middle of eclipse season. We just had this Aries full moon eclipse, or sorry, new moon eclipse, and we're about to enter into the 5/5 Scorpio lunar eclipse. So I feel like we're in this crazy portal of death and transformation right now.
Yeah, because we're also in the retrograde.
Yes,
And so it just feels like nebulous right now.
That's the perfect word. So I feel like this is so timely. I'm wondering if we should start with actually like your move and what even got you to make this move to Austin and step into this kind of this liminal space of the, like I like to think of it as like almost like an incubator. It's like you're sort of like in the womb again, you know? But yeah, let's start there.
Yeah. So the space, something that I took away from someone, a meditation teacher who I really love named Spring Washam, she talks about this space as like the space of no longer and not yet, which I just really love because it really is just like the closing of something and then the new thing isn't official yet. And so this is that like weird liminal space that I am currently in. And the impetus really was a huge breakup with my life partner. It was the longest relationship that I've ever been in, and we decided to consciously uncouple. And I didn't really understand that phrase until until it happened to me, but it really was like a conscious uncoupling. And so it was very difficult and very painful, and there's been a lot of grief. But ultimately it was, a mutual decision so luckily, I think that's, I know that's not always everybody's case when you have a split, but luckily for us, that lessened the blow slightly. Yeah. And, I think there's certain milestones in our life that really mark something, the end of a relationship. I know we were talking about other ways in which this liminal space comes up. It comes up for all of us in some way. If you're a human, it's unavoidable, right? Whether you're a young child, like going from high school to college, that's a really big deal at that age, or whether you're a empty nester, or you're a new mom, or you're dealing with death, or a career transition, maybe you've just got laid off and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. We're all confronted with this space of I don't know. Um, and so I actually always had, even when I was with my partner, then partner Adam, I just had this longing to be closer to the earth. That felt so deep for me, and also to be in community with women. So even when we were together, I had talked to him about like being interested in looking into intentional communities in some way. And when we split, it was kind of like, okay, I guess this is my opportunity to get out of my comfort zone and do follow this path that feels true to my body, even if the brain will sometimes go, that's bananas.
Yeah. Okay, what I'd love to do is actually like talk to you about what was going on emotionally as you made this
Yeah.
decision, because there's something that is like coming into my field very recently, and I think it really came in with this most recent experience of me going into this death doula retreat.
Mhm.
Like I had just always been hearing like, and I think we've all heard this, like when something's meant for you, you're gonna have this like full body high. It's gonna be like a fuck yeah.
Mm.
And like,
Mhm.
like everything is just, it's almost like the sun's gonna like shine and like the birds are gonna sing and you're gonna have this like godlight coming down or something. And that is so not what I experienced. If anything, it was the exact opposite. It was this like, oh God, do I have to? I think I do have to, and it's this like nudge, but not, I would not say that it was an easy thing to say yes to, nor did my whole body like, you know, get this whole burst of like a fuck yeah kind of feeling. It was
Mhm.
nothing. It was exact
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
experience has been like that too. Like anything that's been profoundly changing my life and has been like something I either just had to do and couldn't think about, or something that I was like trepid about a little bit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the whole way up.
Yeah. I think what's so cool, I love that you're pointing out that there are different flavors of this. I do think, yes, sometimes there's that like movie montage moment where you're like, oh, yes, of course, the clouds are parting and this is for you. And what you mentioned, what both of you mentioned is also so true. This idea of like it, it's almost like that is your path. And oh, God, even if it's hard, you can't say no because it feels like the truth. And I
Yes.
think in every moment it is really a question of like, what is the I don't have the answer, but I think what my experience was is like, well, what does the truth feel like? And
Mm.
it's just sometimes it's beneath language, but to answer your question, Ellen, about like what was going on with me, it's just a feeling. It's not an intellectual, because the intellect is very limited and it can come in and tell me all sorts of silly stories, like logically, this doesn't make sense. But I wish I had a better answer, but I feel like it's a very physical feeling of like there is a truth that I need to follow, and it's almost choiceless. Like I don't have a choice. I don't
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
Yeah.
say no. I guess I could, but that would feel like such a um what's the word? That would feel like a betrayal
Yeah.
of
Mm.
like myself.
Mhm.
So it's again, I want to emphasize, I think it feels different for every person, but it just felt like a a deep knowing in my body that was like, you have to kind of go in this direction, even if you don't know what that looks like.
I mean, that just resonates so much. And
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like for me, it's almost like both experiences existed at the same time.
Mm,
Like I knew that there was no choice and that that was my path.
right.
But like I didn't know what it looked like and it was not easy. And
mm.
um but it was totally always worth it. So I'm really excited for you because wow, that's that's going to be so magical when everything unfolds.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's really interesting too, because God, this is all, it's like kind of a mind fuck, because I think there's this story, especially in like, I don't know, the self-help new age Instagram world of like, oh, if you follow your truth in your heart, then you will be rewarded with
Uh-huh.
this. like happy ending where everything it's it's going to be so great at the end. And
Right.
not to say that it's not going to be, because I think oftentimes it is, but I think there's also something here about like, I don't know yet. It's like I think it's not the end. Part of me is like, I don't think it's the end that I'm like going towards. I think it's the process. I think almost like I'm meant to just have the experience of what this is. And I don't need to be, in a way, it feels like I can take the pressure off of myself because I don't need to be so disappointed in myself or mad at God if it didn't end up in this picturesque way that I had idealized. Does that make
Mm,
sense?
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Oh my God, so much so. And I'm so glad that you brought up that there's a little bit of this like um I I don't know why the words bait and switch want to come up, but like there is this sort of like I think because we grew up on Disney movies or something where there's this like happily ever after, like you make this one big decision and then like suddenly you think that you're gonna be validated in that decision because it was actually really difficult to make, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you're bringing up that it doesn't look that way. I feel like the journey itself, the process of the journey feels to me like the point, you know?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you may have this North Star that you're heading towards. And in this case, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like this dream of creating this intentional community is kind of like this North Star for you
Mm-hmm.
to figure out like what that looks like, what it feels like. But it's not even like after even you create it, that's not even the point of it. It's the whole process of you're going through right now in,
Yeah.
keeping that North Star, right in front of you, guiding you through the whole thing.
Yeah. Can I share a story with you guys? Because
Yes,
I
please.
Yeah.
think it's so important to be transparent. Again, I'm so conscientious of like the picturesque, social media story that's painted that it's always really important for me to be like, let's be real, right? And like I got here the first week and had a total, I don't know if I'd call it a breakdown. That does sound a little bit exaggerated, but just full on tears, like really freaked out, being like, oh my God, did I make a mistake? I'm in this Airstream trailer. Two birds had flown in that day.
Oh my God.
And like, it's a small it's a small space, and like birds in a small space are just like nuts, and they shit on my pillow, of course. And there was like mouse poop. I found like mouse poop under all this stuff, and I was just like, I think I was just also my nervous system was probably dysregulated because I had just taken this road trip. Anyway, all this stuff was up, and I called Kylie, my really close friend, and also my co-host of the podcast that we run together, and I was calling her and I was like, this isn't it, like this isn't it, like this isn't what it's supposed to be, like I'm not doing it. And she was so gracious to remind me like, this is it, like this is it, like this is like the hard and the messiness and the vulnerability, and like, and yes, now it's true, like she's like, you're gonna look back on this in a couple of weeks and just laugh, and here we are. But it's like I had this, it was so much pressure, when I was like, I have to get here and it has to be perfect. That what was making me so stressed out. And she reminded me like, this girl, like this is it. And it was actually such a relief. So just a message to anybody else who's in the in between, and you will be at some point, like messiness doesn't mean you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is
Yeah.
so important.
That's a really cute story, actually. Like, I'm having these images of you, like, making friends with all the mice and like, the nature around you.
Oh
I
man, yeah.
know. It's
Yeah, like
like
Snow
the
White.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
totally. Only the sort of like fucked up version of Snow White where it's
Yeah,
like they're not helping me. I actually don't want them to be around right now.
exactly. Exactly.
Oh man.
Man.
So what has been your experience since like having that kind of moment of like, oh my God, did I make a mistake? Because I actually kind of want to like I don't know, zone or like zoom in on that a little bit.
Mhm.
Um I do feel like when you're in this space, there's a lot of moments where you're like questioning, did I
Mhm.
make the right choice? And also, I feel like imposter syndrome and things like that start
Mhm.
to surface, like, am I meant to be here? Am I good enough to be here? Do I know enough to be here? And
Mm.
all these things. So I'm curious, like, what your experience has been since that point.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so happy you asked this question because okay, so this gets to the crux of really what I wanted to talk about how like when we are met with these challenges, they can either, I guess it's really cliche, but it's the idea of if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. Or if it doesn't, if it doesn't, it's going to make or break you. And meaning, I think that we have a choice in how we respond. And that, yeah, like, and I think I've been going into this very intentionally being like, okay, so so how I responded, Ellen, to answer your question is like, I'm in trust boot camp right now,
Oh, wow. I love
every day.
that.
That's such a good way of putting it.
Like
Oh my
every
God.
fucking day, trust boot camp. And that wasn't my lesson before, but now I do see it as an opportunity. I'm not just trying to be like positive, this isn't toxic positivity. I'm like, oh, I get it. I am here to see like how deeply can I fall into life? How deeply can I trust myself? How deeply can I trust life itself? And again, this is all help from my teachers, who, I have a teacher named Tom Compton who I want to give credit to, but I do this meditation where I ask myself, could it be that I can trust life right now? And I get really present with myself. It's also really helpful, if you're in nature. And it's like the inquiry of questioning reality. And could it be that I can trust life right now? And even in the depths of feeling like really, I don't know, lost or anxious, my reality shows me that I actually can trust life. Like there's been no moment actually where I could not trust life. And again, it's like I don't want to say this flippantly, like it's easy. Like this does feel like trust boot camp. Like I'm living on a moment by moment basis of being like, every time I notice tension, and it is a meditation, if I notice tension, it's like, okay, can I trust life right now? And it's just
Mm.
been really beautiful, actually. It's been so beautiful because then I can let go and surrender and be like, oh my God, I don't have to control everything. I'm not, it's a weird mix of like, I'm not in the driver's seat. Um, but not to say that I don't have responsibility, but I don't have to be hyper vigilant.
Yeah, you're in the flow. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were saying something about just living moment to moment. And it's just bringing it into my mind the fact that, like, being in this space of liminality really does bring you into presence in a
Mhm.
way that nothing else kind of does, Like, I feel like this trust boot camp, I mean, I think that's the perfect term for it. You're literally, you are being present. And I think that's something that so many of us have such a difficult time with.
Yeah.
Um, just appreciating moment by moment, like, oh my God, I'm still here. Oh my God, I'm still here. I
Hmm.
still have everything I need. I'm still breathing. I'm still, I got my food. I got my shelter. I got, and I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. And it
Mhm.
really is a moment to moment thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, oh God, it gets to be fun and funny. It's like, okay, so two birds flew into my Airstream and put it on my pillow. And it's like, but the mind will just create these stories. But when I'm talking about it's like really getting into my body and like looking around and like opening my eyes and asking like, wait, am I actually okay? Like, am I safe? It's really, I think it sounds simple. And I also feel like it can be really profound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a serious wisdom bomb. I was like, I'm totally gonna start using that because it's really powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like one of my intentions so I moved here from Oregon, from Portland, and one of my intentions when I like got on this, I went on a solo road trip, which I was also nervous about because I hadn't really had much experience driving this much by myself prior. And one of my intentions is like, I want to be closer to God, to source. And I think, yeah, I don't know, being in this liminal space awakens you. And I do feel like I've been like, if there's one thing that I have really felt that has happened is like, yeah, I feel closer to God because Um, I don't know, I guess because of this aliveness and because I've been challenged to, and that actually feels like such a gift.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
makes me realize that, like, you know, those who have been sort of on this spiritual path, who are just, in the process of really stepping into service work, or like wanting to step into service work and not quite knowing how. And um I don't know. I feel like Sam and I have been having these conversations, this week with different people, where it's kind of brought us, at least for me, it has brought me back to um this deep knowing that, like, your connection to source is really what is going to allow you to be okay at the end of the day. It's not so much about, we had this teacher on a conversation with my medicine mentor yesterday, Sochila Shea, and she was kind of explaining to us that, like, oftentimes we look to the people around us to source that energy from, whether it's financial or whatever. But when you're literally just establishing a deeper connection to source and just being with source, and that is your intention for this whole trip going out to Austin, was just to be
Yeah.
closer to God. I feel like, wow, what a beautiful, like, that's really what it's all about. And that's
Yeah.
really what's going to allow you to stay safe through this entire experience and feel safe through this entire experience, that connection.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the beautiful gift of fear is that, like,
Mm.
fear, this is what I mean when I say that this is like the crossroads. It depends on how we relate to something and how we respond to something. But fear can either swallow me whole, and let me just reassure you, it often does,
Yeah.
or I'm like, oh, I don't want to suffer anymore. Oftentimes it's
Yeah.
my suffering that is the catalyst for change, right? And I'm like, I can't do this fear dance anymore. And so it's the catalyst being like, what are my options? And I do have a choice. And that is surrendering deeper into life, or, or feel, dedicating yourself to being connected to source. I think both are kind of the same thing. And so yeah, it's just, people always are like, how is this for you? And that's one way that I think fear can be for us.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
really love that a lot. It just makes me realize again that, like, there's nothing bad. You know what I mean? Like, everything feels like a gift in some way or another. And even that feeling I have in my body before going into something, where I feel the nudge to go, and I feel like I can't say no, but there's fear there.
Mhm.
It's like, to me, it's in leaning in to that, like, I keep on calling them like my uncomfortable edges, but really staring fear in the face, that has gotten me to build this resilience and realize that actually I'm way stronger than I think I am. And I
Mm,
can
Yeah.
actually do this, again, with the backing and support of source and my ancestors and the earth.
mm,
Yeah. And something you said really resonated for me too. There's this mantra that I taught my little sister, and she and I say it to each other all the time, which is like, pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice.
mhm,
Ooh, I love that.
And yeah, and um, it just, like, it's so true, because I mean, so often I do have to go through the suffering in order to get to the place where I'm, like, determined enough to change whatever it is. But there's always this moment on the other side when it's like, you're standing in the light at the end of the tunnel a little bit, and you don't know what's going to happen. You can't see clearly what's coming up, but you're like in the light reflection, and it's like, why did I wait so long to do that?
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Okay, can I ask both of you a question, actually?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think something I think is really that I'm really I find fascinating and I think can be really humanizing. And I'm happy to answer the question too. Of like, so what do you think? your normal response is to change. Because I think, Sam, I feel like you mentioned last time that usually there are times when you're like, oh, something new is coming and you feel really excited about that, right?
Yeah.
And there's possibility. And I do think that there are some people who are, I don't know if you guys are like familiar with human design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're like a 3 line, I feel like they're like, I'm not that familiar with human design, by the way, but I do have some friends who have 3 lines and they're like, oh yeah, let's just throw something against the wall and see if it sticks. Like they're so fluid and they're so like spontaneous. And I think that's great. But that is like not my default. I am Capricorn, type A, have lots of trauma. So like there's a part of me that likes the structure and the comfort, so
Right.
so I guess my question is, and so I share all of this very passionately because this is something I've had to actively, work on, I suppose you could say, quote unquote work is in quotations. But I am curious, like, what are your default modes, and also where has that maybe shifted over the years?
Oh, so I have a long history in my tower moments, in my control alt deletes of just throwing myself into whatever it is that I'm feeling called. Like the nudge will just get strong enough one day that it's like I just have to go and I don't know what's going to happen. But and I know it's going to be hard and like really shitty at times, but like, you know, when I knew I had to leave Denver, I wasn't totally sold on LA, but I knew I had to go. And I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a job yet. I just rented an Airbnb for 3 weeks and bounced and did some interviews and got lucky
Mm.
and was able to stay. But like the first year that I was there was very hard. It was super tough. It was lonely. I was getting to know the city. I was, getting to know new coworkers. I had to reestablish everything in a place where I didn't have any like family support. But it was like the best move I've ever made.
Mm.
So but I remember in these moments thinking like, I'll just go out and see what happens. And if I have to go back to Denver, I'll have to go back to Denver. And then as soon as I would say that, I'd get like really sad, like at the thought of having to go back to Denver. um, but I just almost like couldn't think about it too much. And I
Mhm.
couldn't pre-plan it too much. I just had to like take the next first step.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
That,
I think that's beautiful.
yeah. I, even as you were saying, like, I can't think about it too much. I just have to take that next step.
Yeah.
I think that's really been my experience as well. It's every time I stop and think about it, that's where I fuck up. That's where I get
Yeah.
into trouble, where something in my brain or something, in my ego is just like, no, 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 that's too dangerous. Like, you shouldn't do that. And
Or
I
there's
think,
like a laundry list of reasons why you shouldn't like,
right, right,
and I ran
exactly.
through a host of those that first couple months in LA. But I was there.
Yeah. I mean, you're both of you guys, I think, are making me think about like, there's been moves that I have made that have been, I don't know if they've been like super, I mean, they've been life changing, but they haven't been like that thing that was so difficult. For me, it's been these sort of like, it's like experiences that take me into confronting something that I'm just not ready to confront, you know? And I think for me, most recent example has really been the death doula retreat, where in some ways, because I lost my dad so early, like I've lived with death and grief my entire life, but I've never been in a situation where I had to talk about it or be immersed in it for like 4 days. Um, and I think the idea of stepping into this role of a death doula was really scary for me. Like I didn't know what that meant, but for some reason it felt really compelling. Like I felt the nudge. I felt like I needed to do it. Um, and then I would also say, just even like what's been coming up for me recently and stepping into more of a visible spotlight with the work that I do. I feel like that also has been incredibly scary for me, because the imposter syndrome is like next level, you know? It's kind of like, I don't know if I am worthy of being next to some of these people, and yet I am given the opportunity to be, and I have to show up. But, it's like, it's scary AF for me to feel like, oh my God, all these eyeballs are on me. And like, what if they look at me and go, why the hell did she get this spot? You know what I mean? Like, why the hell did she get this opportunity? She's not good enough. I think that has been for me the growth edge, and for me, like, stepping into this space of like that's, I think, the big fear space that I kind of confront almost like on a daily basis.
Wow. I so appreciate you both sharing. I'm just loving all of this.
Yeah.
um, Ellen, to you, I want to say you're in self-belief, self-claiming boot camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. I think it's so funny. Like I'll work with my clients and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know. They'll be like, I wanted to like work on my relationship with my partner, but something's coming up with their kid and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about the thing with my kid," even though it's the thing that's like really bothering them the most. And I often have to remind people and myself is like, what's in the way is the way. Like
Oh,
that's
wow.
like whatever is bringing up your tension or your suffering is the boot camp that you are in, and that's why it's an opportunity because then you can like really learn this shit. I mean, you do have the option to turn away. I'm not saying people in general, but if we turn away, then we don't get to. We almost miss out on an opportunity to work with something in a really potent way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you believe in reincarnation,
Yeah.
you got to do that shit all over again. And then, like the lessons stay until we learn.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, I get the sense that the three of us and many people on the spiritual path were just like, all right, we're diving straight in. Like, there's no, we're here just to like not turn away.
Yeah.
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 And I feel like all of us probably at some point or another, we were in a completely different space, corporate job, all that stuff. And we made this decision, right? It like basically, I think we were suffering so much to the point where it's like, it was finally we went through this crossroads of like, okay, it's now or never. We have to do this almost for like survival's sake. We have to jump ship just to save ourselves, in some ways. I think that's how I felt leaving the
Mhm.
corporate sector, which I would say is probably the biggest transition of like leaping into the unknown that I've had. But I think after that, there has been several like leaping into the unknowns for me, but they've gotten successively a little bit easier every single time. I think because I lived through that one. And that for me, like leaving a well-paid job to go into basically a zero income situation was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
That
Me too.
was a big leap.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I love what you're saying though, because I think, oh my God, it's like, what a blessing to get older, right? It's like, to me, that is a gift of wisdom that comes from experience. Cause I think self-trust is, yeah, you build it up, or trust in life and also trust in self comes from experience. And so, um, that has been my experience too, that even when in this transition, I'm in this new city, yeah, it's just like everything's new. And I'm meeting new people and all that stuff. And there's a lot of like, oh, but last time I did this, it actually worked out really well. Or like last time when I was in a state of transition, I learned so much. So there is just a faith and a wisdom that comes from experience, which again, I'm so grateful for. Like I'm happy to be entering into my 40s. I don't think I'd ever want to go back to my 20s. It was fun,
I'm
I'm
with you.
good.
I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm curious, what rituals or practices You mentioned meditation. I know that that's been like a foundation for you, but I'm curious what else has been really holding you through this entire experience and keeping you very like breathing, like staying safe in this.
Grounded, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, such a good question. Okay. I'm going to list the things that are coming to my mind and maybe I can talk about each one a little bit more. But surprisingly, the first thing that's coming to mind more than anything, more than any ritual is actually community and feeling held by the people in my life that I feel safe with, who like, who I feel seen and heard by. And like my whole body is just feels such gratitude for my, like my sisters, my friends. Um, that's like that's a huge piece of it for me. And I feel like that's another way in which I feel gratitude. That's something that I think I've built up over time. When I first started my own business, it was very, I mean, you guys probably know it can be really isolating. It can be really lonely, like you're working from home. And I also had this, I was coming out of this like, you know, corporate job space where I was like, I can do everything on my own.
Yeah.
You know that well.
Yeah. And I really had to like, it took me time to figure out like, and be vulnerable and be like, no, oh, duh, I need people. And anyway. So literally, oftentimes it's me getting like, I know that I can, if I am having a hard time, there's people who I can just, they can hold space for me. And a lot of my friends are coaches, so they can like coach me. It's like they're, I don't know. That's just been so integral, I think, to having a sense of safety. So yeah, that's a big one. Um, and I will say, gosh, like other rituals, meditation really is the thing for me, the foundational piece for me. But meditation, I think my meditation, and I'm learning this as I continue to, expand my horizons with meditation, but it looks like a lot of different things. It's not always me sitting, on a pillow. It like this whole thing about like, is it true? Could it be that I could trust life right now? I mean, I'm not joking when I say that comes up, all the time during the day. And that's a meditation because it brings me back into focus and in tune with reality. So I'm sure there like are other things, but those are the two big ones that come up.
I really, really love that. I do find that like I mean, honestly, I don't think I would still be on this path had I not jumped ship with Sam.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
we, created a company together and like found our, our individual lanes when it came to healing work and things like that. But it really was like, I mean, if I were to rewind the tape and like try to play it back as if it was just me leaving the corporate, like we came from the same agency, and like I just don't think I would be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been like so many unexpected things come up that you can't even imagine. And like, Ellen and I talk about this all the time, but healing doesn't happen in a vacuum. Like you can't do it by yourself.
Mhm.
Community is essential.
Yeah.
Um, so, and also like how incredible that what you've been called to do is cultivate that community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what a gift.
Well, I
Can
think
you
that's like intentional because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, people are isolated and um I don't, yeah, I just, people are isolated. And I think the power of community is so great. Another, I'm going to quote my teacher. Actually, no, I think this is a Byron Katie quote, but I think that she said something like, no one can do your work for you and you can't do it alone.
Yeah, I
It's
Yeah.
like,
love that.
you can't, no one else can do it for you, but you literally cannot do it alone. I'm not even joking. I'm like, we are not meant to do this alone. Like so much of healing is about like being seen and held by others, and just so you can have your process and that you're not, you don't feel isolated, or that there's, or like, dispelling shame is something that has to happen, I think, with other people so that they can see you and see you in your shame and you can be like, oh, I'm not a piece of shit. Like,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
exactly.
yeah. And so um yeah, again, yeah, I think that is partly why I was called to it, because it's been such a big medicine for me in my life.
Can you talk a little bit about this intentional community that you're building?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So, it's called Hybrazel House. Our website is going to go live soon. Um, and we are in like the very, very, very beginning stages of this. So, my partner, friend, Eliza, she was the one who invited me, and I think she's had big ideas for this space for quite some time. So she has this beautiful space in Austin, and I really love it because it is a really good mix of like you're close enough. Like, we're really close to the city, like a 10-minute drive, But when we're here, it's very homestead vibes, and it feels like we have our own little nook. And so she is also a practitioner, and she has been like, I've been wanting to turn this into a community space for some time. And I reached out to her actually. It's all so funny. So actually what happened was I was looking for different opportunities, and when I broke up with my partner and I was like, hey, where do I want to go next? I know I don't want to stay. I want something different. And I had just asked around. And I really feel like it is about following the breadcrumbs. Like, I'm sure
Mm.
you guys probably get it, right? Sometimes one
Yeah.
thing just leads you to another thing. And so I like threw out this request to my friends out into a net, being like, hey, people, like, I want to do this. Like, I want to create community. I want to be closer to nature. I want to live like a more simple life. Do you guys know anybody? And I made that request like thinking that doesn't, I don't know, it wasn't in my consciousness yet. So I was like, didn't think it really existed. I didn't know. And I was actually surprised to see that there were all these options. There's so many people out here in this world living untraditionally.
That's rad.
It's so cool. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, it's so inspired because we, if we don't see it, we just get used to our own little bubble. Um, but anyway, so Eliza, this was just a really good fit for me, for many reasons. One of them is because it allowed me to still continue with my own business. And so, um, yeah, so we're just here. When I say we're in the beginning, a lot of it is just like the goal is to start by just having events actually. Um, she has already done some events here in the past. Um, but the truth is it kind of takes a lot of like cleaning up of the land. Like, this is new to me. I'm not really familiar with like caretaking for land. It's kind of a full-time job.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Work. And I think what I really want to speak to is, again, I don't know why I'm so into dispelling like the myth of like perfection. But I think because I think my hope is that it actually makes things easier for people. But like, there's a lot of work that's like not glamorous, and um like we're still learning and we're figuring it out, and we're just like, we're in the beginning. So this is the time I think where we make a lot of mistakes. And I think I want to just speak to that part rather than being like, oh yeah, like this is so picture perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah,
shoveling horse
yeah,
shit like once or twice a week.
yeah. No, thank you so much for like bringing that up,
Yeah.
because I think it is really important. I think a lot of us, I would put myself in the same camp. It was like I wanted to leave my corporate job because I felt like there was just the values didn't feel aligned to me anymore. And so in my very idealistic mind, I thought, okay, if I jump ship and start this, self-care company for professional women who are burning out just like I am, that there would be some sort of like ease, I guess, and not that it would be an easy road, but it's like there would be ease in it. And that's so not the case. It's there was like a lot. I mean, from the point at which I feel like I left in 2018 till now, I mean, there's been so many twists and turns and ups and downs and
Mhm.
like dark, dark, dark spaces of a lot of, yeah, like shoveling horseshit in the metaphorical sense, you know?
Yeah. And just like feeling our way through the darkness.
Yeah.
We tried so many things that like didn't work.
Right,
And we were like,
right.
all right, we're gonna pivot. Like,
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So, if it's okay, I'm going to just a little bit more about Hybrazel House. Like,
yeah.
when I say we're
Yeah.
in the beginning, I mean, that's like what's so humbling about this is like, it is very humbling. It's like, oh, we are just two people right now figuring it out. And that's another wonderful thing about partnership and community, is that Eliza is like a whiz with ideas. Like she's got this amazing creative imagination, and that's not my forte. I think I'm more of like, I'm really good with execution. And so that's like really, I guess my point is to say, like, if you can partner with people where you can have complementing gifts, I think that's always really nice. So I think she has a lot of ideas for how to make this space really magical, and some of that is already inherent in the land here. So when I say we're in the beginning, it's like, let's just get this space in a good enough place that we can start inviting people in. And then once we hopefully start, and then I actually think like that will, like, hosting the events, I think will actually be easier. I think like getting things in order is going to take much longer. And then once we do that, I mean, again, who knows? This is like the thing about the liminal space, is like, literally, I don't know. Like, I don't know what is going to happen, which is mind-boggling to me. I don't know how long am I going to be here. I don't I don't know. Like, it's so bizarre. Is this going to work? I have no idea. And that is like like,
It's so exciting though too, right? Like
Yeah.
I've
yeah.
had moments in those spaces where it's just like anything can happen. And the flip
Yeah.
side of that is, yeah, anything can happen, but really anything you can possibly imagine, like things you can't even imagine. Like
Yeah.
that's how incredible this space is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think in order to get to that space of possibility, it's I feel like this might be a bit of a diversion, but like, I feel like we can't have a talk about transition without a talk about nervous system, because I think like transition
Yeah.
means that we need to feel safe, and I think in order to feel safe we need to, like, I don't know, feel safe in our bodies, like, because it's the same person, or even me, if I'm like, if I came into this, I don't know, not having tools or whatever to deal with my fear, that idea of like, I don't know what's going to happen could be a nightmare. Because so what happens is, if we don't know what's going on in the future, most people, maybe not most people, I think a lot of people um start to try and control, and we are like in control and control and control, and that that can be really stressful. We don't like it, that's just like not really fun. And so it's like, well, if we can take care of our bodies, which I do, again, through meditation and other things, like, being in my fields and all that stuff, it allows me to get into that place where I can feel safe enough to be like, oh, I'm in the potentials palace where anything can happen.
I just love the terms that you put in, like
I
the
know,
boot
Potential's
camps and
Palace is so good.
it's so good. It is so true. I'm so glad that you brought this up. I literally
Yeah,
was like in my mind going, we need to talk about safety
yeah,
because like by nature, I'm so, so, so glad that you said this. Stepping into the unknown is stepping into a unsafe feeling, you know? And in some ways, I feel like you kind of have to embrace feeling that way. It's okay, like it's the same thing, I guess, as like staring fear in the face. But I love that you brought up the fact that you really need tools, like in order to do this in a way that can be sustainable for your
yeah.
body and your nervous system.
Yeah.
And even tools that, and I would might even go a step farther and say tools specifically that reconnect you with your body, because like actually even in my Akashic mentorship, we're going through this material right now where our teacher is walking us through this exercise to identify unmet needs, and the whole thing behind that is that, like, even in some cases, if your rational mind understands something and you've sort of wrapped your head around it, there's still a physiological response, and you have to feel safe in your body, not just in your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, going a call back to what we were saying before, is like, also, that doesn't, if you don't have the tools, then this is where having help is helpful. Again, going back to this idea of community, even if it's just one person, because you're not meant to do it alone. And so I just think it all kind of comes full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
do also want to say that, like, you know, again, bringing up source, bringing up the divine, bringing up your connection to the earth and to the cosmos, I feel like that's also a huge reminder that you don't walk this earth alone. even if you don't necessarily have a human around you. You know, the humans help for sure, but ultimately it's also your connection to the earth and connection to the stars. You know, I feel like if you remember that you are always held and you're always guided, then you don't feel so much the need that like, oh shit, I have to figure this all out by myself. And I need to, you know, like I need to stay safe in my I'm these days I feel like I always open up a sacred container with everything I do. And I think prayer for me has been like the number one thing, even above the tools I have, my breathing, my meditation, all that stuff. It's prayer, actually. Without the prayer work, I don't think I would be nearly as grounded or as like okay with some of these things coming into my field.
Mm. Oh, oh my God. Ellen, as you were talking, it felt like warm maple syrup was being poured on my body.
Mhm.
It felt like all gooey in the best way. I'm so happy you brought in like Pachimama and nature because you asked me what my tools were earlier, and I didn't mention nature, but I feel like that's a must mention because she's the greatest co-regulator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the greatest medicine, and I do. Oh God, there is something about being here at Hyperazal House with this beautiful backyard, and she's got this like creek in the back
Wow.
that is also
Oh,
part of like the medicine of how I stay. That it's like when I'm in nature, that's when I know I can trust life. So
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so
That's
cool.
so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you're so welcome.
What would you say is your biggest piece of advice or wisdom for somebody who is literally staring into the unknown, standing on that cliff and like just so unsure about whether or not to jump?
Oh, whether or not to jump. And I was unsure. Hmm. I feel like I'm gonna give an unconventional. I have okay, hold on. Okay, I have two things I want to say. I feel like I don't know if this is unconventional, but um I'm actually self-conscious that this may not sound, as inspiring as maybe some people would like, but I actually again trust life. And it's like you're ready when you're ready. Like no one can no one can like force it. And there's actually, I think, a lot of grace in that. And you'll know like you're ready when you're ready. I don't know. That feels like much kinder to me, I think, than this idea of like, oh, you need to, I don't know, inspire yourself to death. Yeah, but I will say, I thought your question was going to be like, what's my biggest piece of advice for someone who's like in the liminal space of no longer and not yet? I would actually think it's like learn how to be with your emotions. Like no, which is essentially a way of saying know how to be fully with yourself, where nothing is rejected and everything is allowed, because that is like to me a huge path of liberation, where you don't have to be afraid of whatever is coming up. And I talk about how like meditation is a big part of my practice. That is also meditation, I guess, is very broad for me because it's like being with what is. Just what is it? Is it shame? Is it guilt? Is it insecurity, fraud? It's all going to come up. And your ability to like be, I don't know, it's like to feel our emotions, I think, is an act of unconditional love that is going to carry you through the worst thing. Because the worst thing we can ever really feel, this is something that like I was learning in my meditation training, I think, is like it's a feeling. It's never like the circumstance. It's never the result. What happens is the result causes a feeling. And so that's what we're afraid of. If we are homeless on the street, it's not that we're afraid of being homeless, we're afraid of how it's going to make us feel. And so if you know how to be with your emotions, you really, I have found, have like a lot less to be afraid of.
Yeah.
That's super, super like profound wisdom.
Yeah.
It's so true. It is about the feeling. Oh my God. It's all about the feeling.
Ugh, yeah, feelings are a bitch, and they're also the best medicine.
Oh my God.
uh, yeah.
Totally. Thus our like non-dual like state of this universe, right? Like it's the best and it's also the worst.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Eva. This is like just pure
Yeah,
medicine.
it was
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank you.
fun.
Thank
Oh my
you.
God, I had so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. And just as to all of your listeners, I fully intend to have you, if you guys are open to it, to come on to Hello Universe, because
Yes.
I just
Oh yeah,
know that we would have such a great time.
that would
Oh
be
my God.
amazing.
Yes. Podcast party. I'm so down.
Yeah, I love it.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Music for Woo New is composed by Adam Miller.